So I just read Ship of Fools by Richard Paul Russo. This is the first book I've ever read by this author. It's a sci-fi book. Not yeah, it's a sci-fi book. It's just somewhat horror. It's not. There's some horror elements to the story, but it's not, your typical horror story. But yeah, I'll be talking more about that in just a little bit though. I really enjoyed this book. Like, I couldn't put this book down actually. I've read this really fast. It's not a short read. It's not a long read either. It's like 400 pages or something. So this is going to be my spoiler-free version. There's going to be a spoiler section later on, another video where I'll be talking about spoilers. So just so you guys know, there's no spoilers into this video. So it reminds me of other stories, so other movies, books, and video game. That being said, everything that it's reminding me of are horror things. But as I said previously, it's not, there's some horror elements, but it's not your typical horror story actually. But on with what it reminded me of. So it reminded me of the movie Event Horizon, and mainly with the religious undertone. It reminded me of Aliens, mainly the claustrophobia, because it's not claustrophobia, it's everything feels so claustrophobic. The ship, the alien ship also, all these things. It reminded me a lot of Aliens actually. And lastly, Dead Space, with the weird, mainly because of the weird alien ship, but also kind of the colony that we see in the book. There's a colony in Dead Space, my favorite video game, by the way, one of my favorites. And you have this colony, living in planet somewhere in Dead Space, and you have kind of the same thing here, with once again some religious undertones, mainly fanatism and stuff like that. I really like the topics of faith and the relationship between good and evil, and kind of the origins of evil and of goodness. Also, I really enjoyed that in the book. Coming from a religious family, my parents were very religious. There are some dialogues in the book that I had at one point with my parents, essentially, just talking about religion as a whole and things like that. So once again, if you're not a horror fan, you could still really enjoy this book because the horror is really mild. There's not much to it. There's a lot of action near the end of the book that is on the verge of horror at points. But, as I said previously, it's not really that horror-y. So on with the story. It's essentially a spaceship, so the Argonauts, that's the name of the ship, is wandering aimlessly in space. They don't have a mission or a purpose. They kind of lost that, because it's a generational ship, so multiple generations lived on the ship, and at one point, their history was kind of removed, erased, and they don't remember why they are in space, essentially. So this is kind of where the Ship of Fools name is taken. They're just wandering. There's no real purpose to the ship, actually. They hear a signal from a planet. I think it's nearby where they are. They decide to investigate. Something happens on the planet. Then they receive another signal, and they go to see what it is, and it's a spaceship, essentially. That's mainly it. So as I said at the start of the video, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm just gonna end here, and I'll be making another video. So this Thursday I want to post another video, you know, talking about spoilers. So if you've read the book and you want to, you know, have my full thoughts on the book, I'll be posting another video this Thursday. It reminds me of another movie that I've not talked here, movie slash book, but that's going to be for the spoilers though, because it might spoil some things essentially. That's it for the review of this book. So coming next, I'll be making, as I said, a video for the spoilers review. As for what I'm reading right now, I'm reading The Dark by James Herbert. I'm 100 pages or so through the book. It starts slower than the last two books I've read by Mr. Herbert, but I'm still really enjoying the book. Can't wait to see where the story is going. Actually, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.